On November 1st, 1972, it was a Wednesday morning here in Walterboro, South Carolina. Alberta Fillers dropped off her 14-year-old son, William Huff, and his 16-year-old friend, James Crosby, at Colleton Junior High School, which is the school right in front of me right now. That was the last time she would ever see her son alive. We're here to talk about the Walterboro Lost Boys. This is one of those cases that there's just not a whole lot of information, and a lot of other people on YouTube are either going to bypass this story or they just simply don't know. But on that morning, November 1st, 1972, it was a Wednesday here in Walterboro. Alberta Fillers drops off her 14-year-old son, William, here at the school, and his 16-year-old friend, James. And I don't know if she's supposed to pick them up later after school. It is a Wednesday, so there is, in fact, school at the time. So they get to the school. I'm not sure if they went to their classes or not, but sometime, possibly during lunch, maybe after school, I'm not quite sure, they decide to take a trip outside of the school and into this forest right here. The other side of this forest is an airport. And we don't know if they went into this forest on their own volition or they were forced to. But that is where they would be found some 12 years later. Now, even though the Colleton County Sheriff's Department and dozens of volunteers combed the area looking for the two young boys, they were never found. April 1984, there's a couple of guys somewhere in this foresty area right next to the airport. I think the airport might be a half a mile, if that, from where I'm walking at right now. They're with their hunting dog, and they're basically just checking traps and doing that kind of stuff. And one of the guys comes upon a pair of pants and a shirt. And next to this pair of pants and shirt are bones. And these bones, they don't look like animal bones, they look like human bones. So they immediately call the sheriff's department, and they come out here and they determine that, in fact, those are bones. However, there's not many bones left. There's no skulls. There's just maybe a couple of fragments of bones and maybe a what appears to be a long bone, possibly a leg bone. So pictures were taken of this scene. I'm gonna assume they would call it a crime scene, and they show the pictures of the clothes to Miss Fillers, and she identifies the clothes as belonging to her 14-year-old son, William Huff. Somewhere out here, two boys went from that school out here and died. Were they kidnapped? Were they forced to come out here? Honestly, nobody knows. We have no clue as to what took place, because 12 years later, there's absolutely no clues into how they died. All we know is they died. Two seemingly healthy young kids just came into this forested area and died. In 1973, a human skull was found in the general vicinity of the Walterboro area. Now, sheriff's deputies were hoping to identify that skull as belonging to one of the two boys missing in this case. However, after comparing dentals, that would not be the case. Fast forward to 1987, and a man in the Walterboro area came forward and said that back in the fall of 1974, him and his buddies who were going to Colleton Junior High had ditched school, and one of the administrators of that school were chasing them to come back to school. They outran them, and as they were in that forested area that I shown you earlier, they noticed that there was a very awful odor coming from a general area within the trees. They had went to go investigate this foul smell, and he told the deputies that him and his friends had seen a dead body just wearing clothes and a head. Now, that honestly can't be validated, but the deputies did ask them, why didn't you call the police? And well, he simply said that, well, they were scared. They were scared, and they didn't want any problems. Over 50 years later, and no resolution to this case. This is the final resting place of William Huff. He died as he lived, a Christian. Many questions to this case, no answers at all. If anybody has any information on the deaths of James Crosby or William Huff, please contact the Colleton County Sheriff's Department. Their number 843-549-2211. 843-549-2211. Eugene Carmichael O'Boyle was reported missing by his family on May 29, 1980. He was last seen at a C&S Bank branch office on 2 Notch Road near Interstate 20 around 11:30 a.m. on May 27, 1980. He was accompanied by an unidentified female at that time. Mike's burning car was found several days later in the area of Park Lane and Farrow Road in Dentsville. His skeletal remains were found in a thinly wooded area about a mile from where his car was burned on November 29th of 1980. Mike was 20 years old at the time of his murder and a sophomore at the University of South Carolina. If anybody has any information on this unsolved murder, please contact Richland County Sheriff's Department, 803-576-3000.